Yo, what's up, y'all? This your boy T-Lo.
Yo, what's Gucci? This your man Tweet.
What up, y'all? DJ Kid Fresh.
What's up? This your boy RL.
And we're next.
And you're rocking with The Rebirth every Monday at 7 p.m.
But you know the hits. Rebirth Radio, baby. Every Monday, 7 p.m. Shay and Eli. All right, rocking that old school. Peace.
Good evening and welcome to the Rebirth on Philly Jamz 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Shay Marriott, and joining me tonight is my boy, my partner.
Yo, it's your boy Eli Isabel, a.k.a. The South. Got something to say. What up, Philly Jamz 95.3 Rebirth family, Shay Marriott. Happy Monday. We in the building. What's good?
Happy Monday.
What up, sis?
It seemed like it's been a minute.
We just missed 1 week.
We missed 1 week, but it feels longer than that.
Yeah. You miss me?
I miss you, man.
Yes.
I miss you.
Man.
Yeah, you have.
So much has happened in 2 weeks. Jeez Louise. I done got me an out-of-network hospital bill.
I'll leave that story alone. I'll let you share that one for yourself.
Have mercy. Gotta stop going away. I'm done traveling.
That's the worst thing is to be sick outside of where you live. In another state, you know? So you were another state. Thank God it wasn't another country.
You know, being sick out of state is one thing, but being sick where you have to go to the hospital out of state, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're better.
I'm trying to be, Lord willing.
You had to pick up that pride while they were putting you in the ambulance.
Man, listen, that was a hot mess.
Listen, thank God for his grace and mercy. So I'm glad that it was, you just needed some water and Gatorade.
Yeah, it still was. Look, as they say back home, I was still shame-faced.
I know that's right. It's all good. So welcome to the Rebirth, everybody. How you guys doing? We missed you. We were off last week for the holiday, but we are very happy to be back. Tonight we have a great show on reinventing yourself.
Yes.
I said reinventing.
I'm trying to come back as a listen, I'm trying to come back as a healthy person. I want to reinvent that.
So we are so excited to talk to our guest tonight, and he is an expert in what he does. So before we introduce him, we have some announcements we want to,
Yes.
October 13th, y'all.
Yes.
Rebirth Live. Get y'all tickets. Rebirth Live is coming October 13th to Theater Inn, where conversation and entertainment comes together. Eli, tell the people about what's happening.
Listen, man, let me tell you
something.
something.
What can they expect?
We're going to have a male panel. We're going to have a female panel. We're going to have a couples panel. So there's going to be something there for everyone. Mm-hmm. Not only that, you're going to have Shay and myself. You're going to have DJ Tim Dog on the ones and twos. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some awesome food. Yeah. A cash bar. This is a tremendous networking event opportunity, man. Come out. Listen, we know it's on a Friday. Leave work early, go home, wash your backside, get dressed. Meet us in the building. Don't meet us there, beat us there. Cause we coming. It's a Saturday night, y'all. After all of this great conversation happens, we gonna kick it. Just hang around. We're going to have a good time, man. Jen and I are going to roast each other on stage. If you're in for a little comedy, hang around, man. But no, in all seriousness, listen, please. This is our 4th time at this thing, man. A lot of effort has been put into this by the homie, man. And so let's come support, man. We always support people. We give people opportunities on this platform. Show us a love in return. I ain't begging, but I'm begging.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Real talk. That's true. I appreciate that.
Come out and holler at us.
This is a great networking opportunity. We have vendors, and actually we only have 2 or 3 more vendor slots available. So if you want to showcase your business, make sure that you go to Rebirth U and rebirthu.com and secure your spot. What's up, Corey Wilkerson? Corey is actually one of the panel members.
What up, homie?
And family to the Rebirth Show.
For sure.
You know, we are so excited to have him back, and we're going to have a good time. So, again, rebirthu.com. Get your tickets. Tickets are on sale now, and we will not be selling tickets at the door, so it's important that you get your tickets ahead of time.
This is not a hood event. You would not be able to pay at the door. That's not what we do. You got to get them things online and come in there dressed up and have your life together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is a 21 and over event
Yes, it is.
as well, so
Yes.
get your babysitters in line.
No babies allowed. Jen, check all that at the door. My girl.
All right, guys, welcome again. Welcome back to the Rebirth. We are so happy to be here tonight. Eli, what is our Black History
Oh,
moment?
man, let's get into that right
Yeah.
quick. 'Cause This comes with a little...
Wait a minute, hold on. Before
Yes.
we do that, I got to shout out. You have an event coming up this weekend.
Yes,
in
I
Atlanta.
do.
You're actually going to be speaking.
I will be speaking at the Resilient as Conference?
That's what the AF was for.
Yeah, Resilient as
I was like, what is
Live.
Resilient AF?
Yeah. So the Blair Tate, who's just an awesome individual, she has this whole Resilient as movement going. I mean, in case any kids are watching, I typically don't even care when kids are watching. So
sure
she has this
don't.
whole Resilient as fuck movement going, and so I've been invited to be a part of the men's panel. We're gonna be talking about Black men and mental health.
Okay.
So it's just an honor for me, man. I did a Zoom with her one time. She was like, "Yo, you gotta come
Nice.
to Atlanta and be there live." So I made the cut, man. Your boy, we flying out Friday, and I'm
All right.
gonna get up there and show my backside, sir.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
So
man.
you got to do me proud because Saturday is my birthday. So in honor of my birthday, you
yes.
better blow it up, okay?
You and my sister.
You better blow it up.
I will always remember that.
That's right.
I got you. So my daughter's gonna be in attendance, so I'm really
Okay,
happy about
nice.
my adult daughter, my 24-year-old. So I'm glad to see her. She's like, "Dad, I can't even see you being serious." I'm like, "Yo, I really kind of know what I be talking about."
Yeah, you
I just
do.
mask it with a little, with a little love, because I like to have fun.
You're going to do well, and I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
go
that.
down there and represent.
No doubt, rebirth in the A.
I know
Let's
that's
see what
right.
happens. To bring that thing down
If it
there.
wasn't my birthday, man, I would have came down to support.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about
But-
something off the air about this event anyway.
Alrighty.
All right. So, yes, Black History Moment. Let's get into it. Mildred Coleman Crump. She became the first African-American councilwoman in the 336-year history of Newark City Council in New Jersey when she assumed the office in 1994. That's crazy. She is also the first woman to serve as council president for Newark, New Jersey. Well, they say Newark, New Jersey, when she did what she did from 2006 to 2010, and again from 2013 to 2023. She is a past recipient of the Susan Burgess Memorial Award for exemplary leadership from the National Democratic Municipal Officials. She is also the New Jersey State League of Municipalities Elected Officials Hall of Fame. But I want to get into this part right here. So Crump was also the first African American Braille teacher in Detroit, Michigan, and in 1965 she relocated to New Jersey, becoming the state's first African American Braille teacher. So here's my question: shout out to Miss Mildred Coleman Crump. Let's celebrate her.
Yeah, that's
Little known
what's up.
Black History fact, because
Absolutely.
Dr. King was awesome, but we have to share the wealth on
I
other
wonder
folks.
if she's related to what's his name, the Crump lawyer.
Oh,
that represents
that's a good-
everybody.
That's a good question. He gets on my nerves. So I need more than one civil rights lawyer in the whole country. I just think of Chicken Farmer when he's talking. I'm like, we never win when he's in charge. Anyway, so here's my question to you all. So on the ATM machine, there's Braille, right?
The ATM machine?
There's Braille on the ATM machine.
okay.
So in the drive-through ATM machine, why is there Braille?
You know what?
This is no. Why is there a Braille on a drive-through ATM machine? No
See what I'm
blind
talking
man's
about?
gonna be driving up there to get money out.
See what I'm talking about, Tom? This is
Is
what I
that
gotta go.
Is that something to think about, right?
It's something to think about, but here's the perspective. Because not everybody that's blind is totally blind. So you have some people who are partially, they can see a little bit. So if they can see to feel their way around.
Would he be driving?
Good
though?
answer.
He might be. Some people.
If you have glasses,
He have glasses
on.
on. Strong glasses.
Hulk Hogan strong.
Right, exactly.
I like this guy already.
Strong. Take the T out. It got to be strong.
Strong with a K.
Strong.
I did that every day.
So I told you I wasn't gonna make fun of the afflicted, but I also that was a good question though, because I was on a walker 6 weeks ago, so I don't make fun of people anymore. I decided that's when it ended for me.
That was a good question.
Yeah, why is there Braille on the drive-through?
Yeah.
ATM
Yeah.
machine?
Yeah, good question.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
So right here, right now, let's get into it because I want to make sure we give our guests all the time he deserves. So really quick, I want to get into, there's been over 1,000 people arrested due to the January 6th insurrection. And I know this country, those people pride themselves on being patriots. Their Blue Lives Matter, they're all these things, right? But these are the same people that went against the Constitution. They tried to overthrow an election, and they harmed quite a few police officers. My question is always, how come Blue Lives Matter didn't matter that day? These are the same people that strongly support the police. Now, I'm finally proud of the Department of Justice of the United States. They have convicted Stephen Rose, who is the leader of the Proud Boys. He has been sentenced to 18 years.
Okay.
The longest sentence so far. Now, there was another gentleman that was convicted that was sentenced to 16 years. But shout out to the United States Department of Justice. You're trying to get it right.
Man, where's the hand claps on that?
Yeah, come on now. In this great country of ours. This is my country, Tasha. They cannot try to overthrow the government. Please.
Wow, okay.
And remember, white people, Blue Lives Matter, right? Which I was breaking them down at the insurrection. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have for right here,
Okay.
right now. Shout out to Stephen Rose. Do your 18, homie. We'll see you in
18.
we'll see you in 41.
You'll probably see him in 12.
I'm happy with 12. Give him 12.
exactly.
Oh,
right.
wow.
He up there, him and the other dude crying and going on. Stop all that.
Well, thank you for the right here, right now in the Black History Moment. Again, guys, welcome to the Rebirth. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Why is there no Braille on my laptop?
If you
Now that I think about it. All right, carry on. My bad. I just kind of like, where's the Braille?
If you have not secured your ticket, please go to rebirthu.com right now and get your tickets. They are on sale. You do not want to miss this experience. Get it. If you can't make it, how about you buy a ticket for a friend or for a family member? Because you need to be in the building.
Yes.
Buy this ticket for someone, send it to someone that could benefit from this event. But I hope that you can make it out. And that is October 13th, 7 p.m. at Theater Inn. All right. So tonight, how to reinvent yourself. Tonight we have motivational and keynote speaker, Mr. Tom Waters. Welcome to the Rebirth.
building.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the Rebirth.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for being
here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we were supposed to have you, last month or
Last
something?
month, and a storm came.
Yeah.
And I don't
Okay.
do well in heavy weather.
I hear you.
So, no.
You barely made it today then. Because
Yeah.
about an hour ago, it was doing something out
And
there.
I called Jen and said, it will be raining when I got to jump out. It's fine. I can't show me that kind of night, right?
Yeah, I told you. I was
I said,
trying to
okay,
warn you,
that's fine,
Tom.
that's
I
fine.
was
Oh,
trying
should
to
be
warn
warning
you.
people about me.
Yes. And I didn't mention that you're also an author.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yes, I am.
congratulations.
Yes, I am.
No mic needed.
Yeah, that's my new book that I'm working on now, which should be out in November.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
no mic needed, and it's really talking about using the voice that we all have. And you see, people under the misconception that you have to have a microphone in your hand in order to get something said, to have people hear you. But we all have a voice. We should all care about something.
Right.
And you use that voice. But the great thing I'm trying to explain is that it's not always the audible voice. You can use your voice in a variety of different ways. People using a song. They're holding up their signs. It's just a variety of ways. So I'm just trying to show people no mic needed.
I like that.
I do. That's
I
dope.
like that.
Okay.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself and how you became a motivational speaker and
Sure. Where do I start? I'll start with my age because I think my age is very relative here.
Okay.
I am happy to say I'm 64 years old.
Wow.
Look at that.
I
God
would've
is
given
good.
you that.
God is good.
God is
You know?
good.
black.
Good
Yes.
black, okay? And I say that because all throughout my life, my professional career, I've always understood the fact that at some point you have to stop, take a look at where you are, and make change
Yes.
if you're not happy. And even if you are happy, you still should make some kind of change. And reinvention really comes down to this one word, change. Not just change, but are you willing to change? See, we all talk, well, I want to do this, I want to do that different, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to do what it takes to make that change in their life. So in 2018, I had been in corporate America for like 30 some years.
Wow.
I was a professional corporate trainer. I did a variety of things, but
Okay.
I got bored. I'm like, I'm really bored now. I'm 50. I think I was 58, 57 at that time.
Okay.
And the company offered a buyout.
Okay.
And the buyout was so good.
I see ya.
So I talked to my pastor. I talked to a couple of my mentors. I'm like, and my family, I'm like, I think I'm going to leave. And people have been saying, you should go into speaking. That's what you do. I'm a ordained minister as well.
Oh, okay.
wow. Okay.
So you should go into speaking.
I'm just doing something on your shoulder.
She said something.
They think I'm a heathen. That's all.
So I decided to take the leap, go on out, and start a business and start speaking, motivational speaking. So it was all about reinventing myself for this phase of my life. Because honestly, I think that after 50, if you're really smart, it can be the best phase of your life.
Amen.
9 times out of 10, the kids are gone. You have some time, and we work most of the times. Most people, I would say 85% of people work at jobs that they have to, not that they want to. But there's a passion inside of every one of us. And I think when you get 50, you should stop and say, you know what? What is that passion, and can I do that passion now? Because I've done everything I was supposed to do. So I'm going to reinvent myself, and that's what I did. I'm going to do what Tom wants to do.
Yeah.
And Tom wants to speak. And that's how I reinvented myself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You mentioned the word change, and I actually have that quote at the end of my emails. Nothing is certain but change, right? Because that's the one thing that's always constant is change.
Right.
But people really have a hard time with change, and even though it's changing, like things just changed these last couple seconds of us talking, right?
Exactly. Right.
It's constant. People still have a very hard time shifting and embracing change. So when we're talking about reinventing yourself, which means you have to be open to change, how does someone be able to do that if they have a fear of change?
You have to get over the fear. You have to do it afraid. That's one of the best expressions I've ever heard. You have to do it afraid. Like, you have to look at something and say, you know what, I'm scared to death, but I'm going to do it anyway. I remember when I went into the military, there was the first time I got on the plane when I went to boot camp.
What branch?
Army.
Okay. Who are?
Who
My man. All right.
And I was petrified to go on this plane. But mind you, I'm on a plane with a bunch of Army men. So I can't show how scared I am,
Not at all.
So therefore, I just manned up and sat there. But once the plane took off and once the plane landed, I'm like, I did it.
Right.
So you have to look fear directly in the eye, because you can't get. So many people are stuck because they cannot get past their fear. Because it's fear of the unknown. Well, what if it doesn't work? I had the same fear all throughout my life. Everything I tried to do, I'm like, what if it doesn't work? I wrote my first book. What if it doesn't work? What if nobody buys the book? But at the end of the day, I would rather die having taken a risk and taking some chances and making changes than not have done anything at all.
Absolutely.
Wow. So let me ask you this. So you were in corporate banking?
I was in corporate insurance.
Corporate insurance for 30 years, and so you said you got bored, but like that's a long time, and you could probably do that job with your eyes closed. You was very comfortable. Right. So, and I know you said you were bored, but was there any other contributing factor other than boredom that made you be like, you know what, I'm over it, I'm done? Or was it strictly just boredom?
No. Actually, what happened was I was a corporate trainer.
Okay.
Corporate trainer, really good. I had worked on my way all the way up to management. But then I got this director. I'll tell you the story. I got this director who convinced people that I know what I was doing. So I got demoted.
After all that time?
After all that well, I had been in that training position for about 10 years.
Still?
But still, yeah. So after all that time, that happened to me. Completely devastating to me.
Wow.
But I went to work every day, and so they moved me from department to department. So then I got into this business analyst position. And I was writing policies and procedures, and that's what I was doing when I left. That was all nice and good, but I'm bored. I can't get back in the classroom and do what I really love to do. But God is good and God is funny, because it was really time for me to go. And I could feel it. I can see it now. The push was, it's time to go. I'm gonna make a way, Because when I got demoted, my pastor said to me, he said, did they touch your money? I said, no. He said, you took too long. They wanted you out. They wanted you out. That pastor's very real. You know, like you took too long. So sometimes you have to know. You know, and my relationship with God is extremely important to me. It's like, it's a part of me.
Yeah.
So therefore, when you feel the nudge of the Holy Spirit, you just have to know, you know what, it's time to do something different. So when the opportunity came, and one of the directors that I had been very close with kept saying to me, you know what, why are you still here? Like, I'm not trying to get rid of you, but I know all the things you do outside of here. Why are you still here? So,
Wow. So that was motivation enough.
It was motivation enough. Even the motivator needs motivating.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true.
For sure.
If I get demoted tomorrow at work, as long as my money, they say I'm all right.
Right, exactly.
Give me less responsibility with the same cheese.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey.
I was making more money than most managers.
Oh, they probably didn't like that
Yeah,
either.
my last manager was not happy with that.
I bet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hope
That was a problem. That was a
But
problem.
you know,
Yeah.
So, but you know, and it just forced me to start thinking, like, you know what? I want to reinvent myself again, but this time I want to do it for time and time only.
Yeah.
Not trying to get someplace else in corporate America. Not trying to get somebody else to see my value. I see the value of myself.
That's right.
I'm gonna reinvent myself to do what Tom wants to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I truly believe that God allows you to become uncomfortable in situations in order for you to move where you're supposed to move. And you know, you can shift to something else and still uncomfortable. You shift to something else and still uncomfortable, because the ideal is I'm trying to move you out of this situation altogether. Right. So it's so important to be able to hear that and understand what it is. Now, I feel that it's important to listen to your intuition, inner God, whatever we want to call it. But sometimes people's intuition gets confused with their trauma.
Okay.
So what is speaking to me? Is my intuition speaking, or is it my trauma that is speaking? Right?
Exactly.
And I find that people have a hard time being able to identify what it is.
And I think for me, because I personally don't use the word intuition, I use the word Holy Spirit, because I believe when the Spirit is talking to me, then there's no doubt about what I'm supposed to be doing.
There you go.
So for me, you know, having that prayer time, having that relationship, and then having wise counsel around me. Look, I'm very blessed. My pastor is an excellent teacher, but he's also the father that I never had.
Okay.
So like he will tell me, you know, I'll call him and say, well, what do you think about this? I think you should do this. I think you should not do that. Or he'll call me and say, what did you do? You should have did that. You know. So I'm like, gosh, you know, like it's a difference when he'll call me and say, hey son, how are you? I'm like, I'm doing good, father. He'll call me Tom. I'm like, oh, this is not a son conversation. This is a Tom, this he should have done conversation. But I'm an advocate for mentorship.
Right.
Because I don't care how old you are, you need somebody that can mentor you, especially when you're trying to move into a new direction. You know, so for me, I'm blessed to have him and some professional mentors as well that have helped me get through this process to where am today and where I'm still going, because I'm not done yet.
So it sounds like your support system is like on point, and the people you can bounce things off of. So when you first decided to leave after 30 years, what were people around you saying? Like not work colleagues, but like personal friends and family. You was like, yeah, I'm buying out, I'm quitting, I'm gonna do something else. What was their reaction?
I was very blessed because my circle is very tight, close. I don't have a whole lot of people in my circle. Like I know a lot of people, but the people I really call friends and really count on, it's not that many. So when I talked to them, they were all for it. They were all. When I told my pastor, I think I'm leaving, he said, I think it's time. He was good with me, you know, because I wasn't just leaving, I had a plan to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of people who took the package, but they didn't have a plan. You know, I took the package, but I had a plan. Like I took a month to do nothing, but even in that doing nothing period, I was focused on like, how you gonna get started? What are you gonna do? What's your first step?
Right.
You know, so you have to have a plan when you're reinventing yourself. You know, you gotta like, what are the steps I'm going? Where am I going? That's the first question. Like, what change am I trying to make? You know, am I trying to make a professional change, a personal change? Like, what change am I trying to make? And once you identify that change, then you have to outline the steps that's going to help you get through that change. But that means going back to school, you know, get some more education, connecting with some other people, moving. Because sometimes change requires you to pack up all your stuff and go someplace else. And that's scary.
Right.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So if you said you have a good support system, and your pastor, you know, talk with your pastor. So people do get stuck with what is it that I'm supposed to do, right? People get stuck with what is my purpose, right? I hear that all the time, just with people coming in for therapy. Right. What is my purpose? What I want? What is it that I want to do? And let's say they may not have a good support system. What would you tell someone? How can they begin to identify those steps for themselves as to what it is that they can tap into?
Sure. I think as long as they have a clear picture and a clear, some kind of idea of what they want to do or where they're trying to go, sometimes you have to walk it out alone. You know, sometimes you do. You have to find the courage because we don't, like you said, we don't always have a good support system.
Yeah.
You know, so many years ago, if I'd have did this, you know, when I was like in my 30s, I would not have had a good support system because of the person I was then and the people I was hanging around. I was kind of crazy, you know. So, you know, before I met Jesus, a little crazy.
Look, everybody touching me when they making a point. I received.
So, but I think that you find the confidence and you find the strength to just walk away and say, I got to do this. I'm going to give you probably one that's a good example, but let's say you're in a bad relationship. Let's say there's a woman or a man, because they happen to mentor with an abusive relationship. At some point, you got to face that and say, no, I got to get out. I got to muster up the strength when anybody believes me, and I have to move on. And that's the same thing. Destiny, I think, is calling everybody, but it's also waiting for everybody to answer.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you're not going to have the support. Like some decisions I make, like, you're going to do that? Like, yeah, I'm going to do that. You're like, I don't know about that. Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to find that, because if I make a mistake, then it's on me, but you never know unless you try.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes even without the support system, and I think that if you look close enough, you'll find at least one person who'll support you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little scared of people who don't have anybody in that network.
Right.
Says a little something
Says a lot about
you.
that person.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What I appreciate it. I think I'm leaving my family tonight. Just trying to make a change. You just encouraged me. This is a push I needed. I'm moving out. Moving out tonight. Get that 1-bedroom apartment, baby. It's about to be on.
And he gonna blame it all on you, Tom.
Exactly, that's okay.
Yeah.
Can I share something else that really helped me in this phase of making this change? In 2014, I went to the doctor and had my annual exam. And the part of my annual exam is the prostate exam. And my prostate exam, I know, you know. But long story short, it turned out I had prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, you know, I'm like, so here we go. So now I have cancer. So I had to deal with that. 2015, something else was going on I couldn't figure out. So I go back to a doctor again. I have a different type of cancer, which I won't mention. So now I have to have chemotherapy and radiation. I've had my prostate removed. I've had chemo and radiation. And then in 2018, right after I left the job, I had lung cancer.
Jesus.
Wow. So all those things put together says you don't have time to waste. You know, like if you've got something you want to do, life is really short, and God is good, because I've been healed. Like I have no cancer in my body, nowhere whatsoever.
Oh, man, that's amazing. That's great.
But it just says to me, like, you can't wait. You know, if you want to make a change in your life, then you have to get up and just make the change.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so key on reinventing yourself. And why wait? Why wait for somebody's approval? You know, why wait until you get a certain age? Because we're not promised a certain age. Why wait till they have a certain amount of money? You might not get that amount of money. Just go ahead and step out in faith and do what you need to do.
Amen. There's never going to be the right time.
Right.
Never the right time.
How did you, so with all those things hitting you back to back, how did you remain positive? Like, how did you fight through that to still...
Faith.
Yeah.
My relationship with God was the only thing I can seriously tell you that carried me through, because when I went to the doctor about the prostate cancer, you know, I'm thinking, oh, we're fine. You know, I talked to God about it. I'm like, you know, I got this cancer. I'm like, I'm thinking we're cool. So when I got the diagnosis, I went into the doctor's office and they said, unfortunately, after the biopsy, you have prostate cancer. So I'm like, okay. All right, so I go home. I call my pastor. I go see him. We're talking about it. He said, you okay? I'm like, I'll be fine. So I go home and I go to my prayer class. And my prayer class is at the top of my steps in my basement. So I sit there and I'm talking to God. I say, excuse me. Because I talk to guys sometimes. I say, excuse me. I thought we were good here.
Right.
I thought we were good here. I thought this was going to be okay. Like, what is this about? You know? And I'm having my private moment now. But God is so funny. He says, I need you to give a specific person at my church $100. I'm like, what? I'm like, don't you hear me?
It's about me right now.
Right. I mean, are you not hearing what I'm saying to you? He said, I need you to give so-and-so $100. I got this. And after he said, I got this, it was fine.
Wow.
I was fine because the prostate surgery, I was in the hospital overnight. They took my prostate out. I stayed on for 30 days. I went back to work.
Wow.
The second cancer was a little bit more intense because I had radiation and chemotherapy. Funny story. They said, Mr. Waters, you know, your skin is probably going to burn from the radiation. I'm like a black man. My skin ain't going to burn. Look at me.
All this melanin here.
My skin peeled like a baby.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe it. Like, Lord, I'm like,
my
you know,
gosh.
I'm worried about the chemo and my
Right.
hair, which I don't have much left anyway. I didn't have much hair then. I said, what about my hair? Since the doctor, what about my hair? Gonna lose my hair? She said, Mr. Waters, really? Really?
Like, that's what you're worried
That's
about
what
right
you're
now?
worried about, you know? But through all this to go back, but through all of those, I found the peace of God. And one night I was in so much pain from the radiation, and I reread the story of Job. If you know anything about the story of Job, Job went through a whole lot, but
Yeah.
because he trusted God, you know, he was able to get through that. And then my pastor, so great. My pastor called me almost every day.
Wow.
Every day he would call and say, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing? And then people would come by and see me, the people that would let come by and see me.
Yeah.
So it's having that, once again, that network, and then having that faith. That I didn't like it, and I'm not going to sit and lie to you.
Yeah.
Because by the third time they told me I had lung cancer, I'm like, I'm over this.
Right.
You know, I am completely over this. As a matter of fact, I had a meltdown one night at church. One of the elders I'm very close with, she took me to the back room, and she just prayed with me. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm done. She said, why are you sorry? You've been through a lot. Like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know, but nevertheless, I'm still here.
Wow, you have an amazing
That is
story.
amazing. Wow.
You're a walking testimony for
Yeah,
sure.
God is good.
You're definitely a walking testimony, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I'll share with you a little bit later why
Okay.
I needed to hear that. So how often, in your opinion, do people need to reinvent themselves?
My theory is at least every 2 to 3 years, but no more than 5 years.
Okay.
And mind you, it doesn't always require, for lack of a better word, a major overhaul. You know, sometimes you look in 2 years, you know, in your career, you're like, I'm kind of happy here. I just want to do something a little different.
Yeah.
That's fine. But then in 5 years, you're like, I'm bored. You know, and nothing's happened. I need to make a change. And that's where you have to sit down and really put in the work and say, I make a major change here. But it doesn't always require a major movement. But only you can tell that.
Right.
You know, 2 years in a job, you know, and then as we get older, I think it's really important to start evaluating where we are in life and what we need to do.
Yep.
People make the mistake of waiting till they get a certain age to prepare themselves, when you should have been preparing yourself all along. So by the time, like when I turned 50, I was well on my way to, I knew exactly who I was. And by the time I decided to leave my job, I was definitely sure not only who I was, but what I could do. And then just going out and reinventing myself to be that person and do that thing. You know, so yeah, I think every 2 to 3 years from minor, but at least no more than every 5 years, you should stop and take a look at your life and see where you are.
Yeah,
And are you
absolutely.
happy there?
Yeah, because I believe we require something different. What I required in my 20s, I didn't require in my 30s.
Right.
What I required in my 40s, I don't require now at being 50. Right? So I definitely feel that, and I also really can relate to knowing exactly who you are. Like, I know exactly who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I used to say, why did it take me so long to feel like this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Why couldn't I have had that in my 20s or in my 30s? But I also realized that I had to go through those things in order to be like this,
Exactly.
where I'm at
Right.
now.
You're right, exactly.
Right?
I tell people I'm scared that if you're the same person at 50 as you were at 20, I'm scared for you.
Right.
I am extremely scared
Right.
for you. That means you haven't grown at all.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I know some people, you know, when I went to college the first time, all my friends went to Cheney University.
Okay.
You know, I'm black. I didn't go. I went to Temple. Put it here. You know?
That's basically an HBCU now.
Right, exactly. But I made the decision to go to Temple. And so my best friend all the way through junior high school and high school, you know, when they came home for the holidays, I'm listening to Steely Dan, you know, and all this different type. We say, well, what happened to you? Like, what do you mean what happened to us? It's just that it's different music.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've changed, man. I'm like, well, I think I was supposed to.
Right. Exactly.
I think I was supposed to. That's the purpose of going to college.
Right.
I'm growing up. I'm changing. I'm experiencing, and he could not understand that. Like, I'm gonna tell you.
Where are those people now in life?
Yeah, exactly. So, but we're not well, not doing well.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So, no.
Wow.
When you were telling that story, I think about how in relationships, you hear that often too. You change. You're not the person I married.
Right.
You're not supposed to be the person.
Exactly.
That
Right.
you
Right.
know. Everyone. We should be evolving. We should be. You know. But what happens when you have someone that has hit that level of it's time to reinvent, but then their mate wants to be stuck where they are.
Yeah.
That challenging
Exactly.
part of, do I continue? Will this person feel left behind? You know, have you come across anyone where you had to speak to them in regards to something like that?
I have, and I've seen it. And the advice that I give people when I run across that is that you still have to change. And I'm gonna give you this analogy: when we die, we all go to stand before God on our own. You can't, you know, your spouse can't stand there for you. Won't be there with you. You won't be there for him.
Right.
So in that same respect, you have to stand up and do what you believe you're supposed to do.
Right.
You don't lord it over anybody, but you're responsible for that. You know, and hopefully, you know, I'm a big Power fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Power fan. You know, like, and one of the things I found interesting when Ghost was alive, which I still believe he's alive, but that's another story. You know?
Me too, Loki.
Exactly. But one of the things I found interesting when Ghost decided that he wanted to get out the business, he had grown to another level, and Tasha hadn't.
Right.
You know,
Or
and
Tommy.
Tommy, and it destroyed their relationships, and because he was determined, as he should have been, to go ahead on and move to the next level.
Yeah.
And you have to be, even in a relationship that can be difficult. That might be the end of the relationship.
Yeah,
But at the end of the
absolutely.
day, you have to be true to yourself.
Absolutely.
So when you're reinventing yourself, when you're taking stock of who you are, how do you change but also maintain the core value of who you are as a person? Like, does that ever affect it?
No, because my core values are my core values. You know, like, they don't change for me. Like, there are certain things that I believe and I won't change. You know, I don't lie, you know, and I used to, you know. I have certain moral standards that I live by. You know, if I'm within a relationship, I don't believe in cheating. You know, and those core values stick with me.
Yeah.
So even in the process of, like, I won't go to a company and do something that they ask me to do something deceitful. I'm
Right.
not doing it. You know, I'm not going to cover love for you. I'm just not doing that. You know, when I'm doing business, like, I just signed a contract with an organization to do some contractual work for them for the end of the year. So when they sent me, they said, well, tell us your salary requirements. So I'm sitting like, wow, this is interesting. You know, I get to tell you how much money I want, you know. But I took everything into consideration that was going on with me at this particular time and how much money I really needed to make this work for me. And I came up with a figure that actually worked for them. They didn't bite, but I didn't try to rob them.
Right.
You know, so I think if you stick to your moral, we all have to have some type of moral fortitude. Because if not, you'll do anything. And I've seen in the corporate America, be cut through.
Yeah.
Because the woman that came in and got me demoted, she got fired 6 months later.
Wow.
Man,
Wow.
I'm kicking and screaming. You know, so I was like, it's like, okay, God, thank you. I see, you know, see what you did here, but you wanted me out. You had to,
Right.
she was the vessel. You wanted me out, but she was not kicking and screaming. So you have to stay true
Wow.
to your morals, and I think that's where we're seeing a lot of problem at, because people have lost their morals and their values, or they're willing to let them go for the sake of the dollar, or for the sake of advancement.
Advancement, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said be consistent,
Yes.
right? And I think that's also a challenge for people as well, as being consistent, especially when they're faced with adversity, right? If it's not going as quickly as they wanted to, or it's not, another big one, I find is imposter syndrome. That's another topic, right? That's a whole nother
We
topic.
could be here all night.
Right.
Right.
So, being consistent is very important. It really is. Especially, in what you're doing, motivational speaking, keynote speaking, being able to market yourself and constantly market yourself. But that's challenging for some people. So
it is. It's challenging for me. So I don't want to sit here and misrepresent, because it is not an easy road, and I don't make the mark every day. Like some days I'm like, you know what, I don't have it. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
But it is a consistency that is required. But you have to determine, like I try to plan my schedule as best as possible, like what I want to get done during the day and during the week. Don't necessarily make the mark, because for two things, now that I'm back in school, that takes a lot of my time, more time than what I had planned on doing. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? The week is this week. So I do a thing called Motivational Moments on Monday nights. I'm pretty dedicated to those because it keeps me out there.
Okay.
I try to post on Facebook or IG at least 2 to 3 times a week something motivational.
Okay.
It's that level. That's what I can commit to right now while I'm in school, because I cannot. That constant until I finish school. But I also realize that it's important that people don't forget my name. Like, people don't forget. So, you have to decide what you can do. We have unrealistic expectations. Well, there's only 24 hours in a day. And Tom does like to get some rest. Because on Friday, I typically don't do any business on Friday because I am in a position where I can do that. Now if somebody calls me, who's going to pay me, then I'm coming.
Right.
But typically outside of that, like if nothing major, I don't pretty much do anything on Friday.
Yeah. Good for you.
So what advice? So I know you're saying that once you hit 50, you kind of had an epiphany. You wanted to like kind of figure things out and do things differently. What would everything you're saying apply to someone in their 20s and their 30s, fresh out of college, trying to still figure out who they are as a person? How can they apply this, or should they? Apply this reinvention every 3 to 5 years to themselves.
They should, and I think, like Shay said, I wish I had known all of this when I was 20. When I got out of school, or had somebody to. Maybe I wasn't listening. That's probably part of the problem.
Yeah.
But I think that
join the club.
I think that at a young age, if you can latch onto it at a very young age and understand the value of reinventing yourself and change and being consistent, I think if you can do that, by the time you're 50 and so, you will have secured, like they say, for lack of a better word, secured the bag. Where you'll be in a much better position without having to do so much work in the later half of life. So I think, I talk to young people all the time. I prefer to talk to young people than some of the older people, because some of the older people get on my nerves. They don't want to listen. They're set in their ways. I'd rather motivate especially young men, especially young black men. Because I'm all about the young black man trying to get to the next level. So if you can get them to do that and understand that early, I think they'll be in a much better position.
Yeah. Okay.
I really think this generation gets it, though.
I do too.
I really do. I've seen some young entrepreneurs, and they are on their grind. Very consistent. I think they get it more than what our generation did, because we were always. I feel like we were taught to be on a job.
Yes.
get your retirement plan, your pension, and not go for your dreams.
Right, exactly.
This, you know what I'm saying? It's just the opposite, where now this generation, and I would say probably the generation, the end cuffs of it, it's different.
Yeah.
It is. Unfortunately for us, our parents, I know my mother, I don't know who my father is, another conversation we'll go to. But anyway, parents, and you're right, they told us get a good job, get a pension and stuff like that. But because from where they had came from and seeing their parents struggle, I'm with you. I think the generation. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I was doing an interview with her for a project at school. And she said her daughter's 28. She's she don't stay at a job long. She said she's making $100,000 a year right now. She's like, she need to make more money. Like, I'm not mad at her for that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't nowhere near making $100,000. But they're willing to take the risk.
Right.
They have an understanding of who they are, what their value is, and they're going for it. And
Absolutely.
because pensions are not around, see, I was blessed to get a pension. You know, so we have a pension where I'm like, well, I can retire. I got a pension. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, but that opportunity is not there for everybody.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Not at all.
It's definitely different because I think when you think about, I think about my mother's great grandparents. They were slaves. So we coming from working for nothing.
Right.
So now when you finally get these opportunities, you do want to instill that. That's the mindset. So
Right.
yeah, now I don't think we have to either say one way or another to our kids. Like you say, Shay, they just on it.
Yeah.
And thank God, to some degree, they don't listen to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because
Yeah.
if so, everybody be trying to get a job at GM and work for 30 years or
Exactly.
whatever,
Right,
which
right.
is not a horrible thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, it is different times now.
Exactly.
So
You know, one of my favorite Bible passages says, "Train up a child in the way they should go, and they will not depart from it." You know, I'm paraphrasing. But when I look at that, see, people only see that it's talking about training up your child in the way of spiritual and the way of the Bible, which is right. But if you recognize that your child has a specific gift or talent, it is your responsibility as a parent
Yes.
to train that child, to get that child the training that they need to cultivate that gift. You look at, what's her name, the tennis player,
Coco Golf.
Coco
Yeah.
Gauff.
Yeah.
You know, her parents obviously recognized,
saw it early.
Serena Williams, parents saw it early, and they cultivated that gift, and it worked out. See, as parents, you have a responsibility. If you see it, whatever it is, you might not agree with it, might not be your thing,
Right.
but if that's the gift that God has given them,
Yeah.
then let them go ahead and work that gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. My older
Yeah.
daughter, she majored in theater in college. So when
Okay.
she first told me what she was majoring in, I was like, oh, this is, I have to take care of you forever. Because what if the acting don't work out? Then you got to get a real
Exactly.
job. And where you
Right.
going to apply that this is your background.
Right.
You can't work at a bank because you have, so.
Right.
But after I got used to the idea, I left it alone.
Right.
Because that was her thing.
Exactly.
And who am I to step on that?
Right.
But it reminded me, I've kind of got into the mindset of my parents, my grandparents. No, get a degree that you can use and go get a job.
Right.
And I'm selfishly, I'm thinking so you can get
Yeah.
out of my pockets, but I'm learning that never really ends.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just, I think it was the old school mindset that I had for her for a hot second. Then I
Yeah.
left her alone.
Right.
Now she's cool.
Right.
She's doing her thing.
Right, but you have to. Well, if you'd have asked me when I was 6 years old what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have told you I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
That's what I wanted to be.
Uh-huh.
But as the years went by, I didn't like to starve. Okay, you know, I didn't know starving as a government as it was.
Right.
You know, my mother wasn't into that. You better get a job somewhere. You know? Back to your point. So, but I think that in this day and age that we're living in,
Yeah.
and you know, I think it's great because the opportunities are so different now. You know, technology, social media has just opened up a world that we,
Yes,
never
it
exposed
has.
to.
It has.
Yeah, we've had people on here that are shooting a whole series or YouTube, like a sitcom, and they come in here and they do it like season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And with no corporate backing, no none of that.
Exactly
so,
right.
So this is a different mindset.
It really
it
has
is.
changed. It really has changed the game. I mean, I always say social media is a gift and a curse at the
Yes, it
same
is.
time.
Right,
you know?
exactly, yeah.
But it definitely has changed the game. So I want to get to some of the comments. Derek Russo,
Yep.
did I say that correct? Says you never get your true value from someone else. You get their value, which may be less.
Meaning when you were speaking about working at your old job, like you have to really value yourself over what somebody else thinks of you.
I agree with wholeheartedly. In fact, that's a really good friend of mine. But I agree wholeheartedly. You know, you cannot get your value from somebody else.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
because they don't see you like you should see yourself. And jealousy is a very ugly thing. But a lot of people can see you and will never give you the credit
Wow.
or support you because they see the greatness in you. It's true. I mean, there's people walk around you, they won't support you, they won't buy into your product, they won't come out to your event or nothing,
Yeah.
But they can see, but it's jealousy because they're not doing it.
Right.
They're not doing
Wow.
it. So
Yeah.
therefore, jealousy really say, well, how they think they're better than anybody else? I said, no, I don't
Yeah.
think I'm better, I just know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So but you have to know who you are within yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't let you do that to me.
Absolutely. You talking to me?
Tosh, I have to draw the line over here.
Silly. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Deborah King says, good evening. Good evening, Deborah. Thank you for tuning in. Good evening, Dorothy Pratt. Thank you
That's
for
my
tuning
sister.
in.
Hey, hey.
And Deborah Marshall Kim says, "Wisdom takes time."
Oof.
Yeah.
I could write a whole book on that.
Yeah. Wisdom takes time.
Yeah, I had a whole lot of hair before all this wisdom.
What's something you've learned about yourself within the last, I'm going to say since COVID? What's something you've learned? Because this has been a difficult time for everybody.
Yes.
Something you've learned about yourself.
I don't mind being alone.
Amen to that.
I don't.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that might sound weird.
Not at all.
But at the end of the day, you know, when we were really locked in, you know, I went my best friend was probably the only person that saw me because he had the key to my house, you know, and I have a key to his house. But outside of that, I was alone. You know, we couldn't go to church online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't bother me. Had that happened in my 20s or 30s, I'd have been crazy. If I always had to have people around me. Like, I always got to have people. I don't mind being by myself. I really don't. You know, it's quiet. You know, I live alone. You know, I can do what I want to do. When I want to do it, go to the refrigerator. You know, sometimes I'm just as, excuse my expression, black as I want to be. Get some orange juice, pour it to my head. Put it back in the refrigerator. Because ain't nobody there. And if you come
That's right.
over, like, don't drink that.
You get a bottle of water. I drink out all the jugs in my house. Get some water.
Right, exactly. You know, so I learned that, and I think the other thing I learned, but you know that I can do whatever I put my mind to. You know, and I really became more aware of that during the whole COVID thing. That's when I went back to school.
Right, okay.
You know, I'm going back to school. You know, I'm 60 years old. What the heck am I thinking? But after the first semester, I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
I love that. I love your answer, and I love the question. And I want to put that back to you. What did you learn?
During COVID, I learned that I really must love my family. Because for a good month, we were all there together every single day, 24 hours a day. And finally, after a few weeks, like, my wife went back to work. But I really was like, yeah, I don't know if I like these people.
Right, yeah.
Like, I felt like I loved them.
Right.
But I started not to like them. And so, but I did. I think what you said about being alone, there's value in that. And people don't understand it. And I'm like you. When I was in my 20s, I went from, you know, my sister's house to college with an apartment full of dudes. And then I even had a roommate into my late 20s. And then when I finally got an apartment by myself, I remember coming home from work one day and I was just like, oh, this is horrible. Because I'd never been in a house alone, like living alone.
Exactly.
And I was like, this is whack. It was quiet. I started calling people like, yo, what y'all doing? What y'all doing?
Right.
But we were kind of growing up, so people were doing different
things.
And then finally, it took me a couple of years, I started to appreciate it. And now that I'm not alone, haven't been alone again for the last 20 years,
Right.
I love being outside or in my garage by myself. They're in the house, but they leave me alone.
Exactly.
There's value in that. And I didn't know.
There really is. And, you know, like I said, my younger years, you know, I had roommates. And I think after the last time I had a group of roommates, I swore to God and Jesus and disciples and anybody else who would listen.
All of them.
You know, I would not do that again.
Right.
You know? And I stayed with my best friend for a while, but even when I moved out of there, you know, I got for my own house and everything. Like, I don't want to have that again.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like being, so, and people say, well, what about, you know, you never gonna get married? I go, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, people touching my stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm very happy with my stuff. Yeah,
Other people breathing.
Right, exactly.
Damn. Stop breathing in this
Stop
one.
breathing, right, exactly.
Taking up all the air.
Yeah, so.
What did you learn during COVID?
Wow. Yeah. So a few things. I actually really do enjoy being home. I do. I love my space. You know. But I think the biggest thing that I learned is that I can actually create the life that I want, and I can create my rich life.
Right.
And that a rich life does not mean rich in money, but rich in the things that make you feel good.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
And I've done that. I start putting certain things, like you said, on Fridays. I'm a mental health therapist.
Okay.
So I had to put boundaries in place where there's certain days I'm not going to see clients.
Right.
because I was just he knows I'm just one of those therapists that I took everybody. And I would be book.
Right.
But Tuesday through Thursday, I'm book.
Right.
Monday and Fridays are days that, I take for myself to regroup.
Right.
So it's okay to create the life that you want.
Right.
And you don't have to apologize for doing that. You don't. No.
I always, people who are married, I think marriage is a wonderful thing. I really do. People married. I have friends who have been married 20, 30 years and longer. I think it is a wonderful thing. But I don't think marriage is for everybody.
Right.
It's not. It's not.
That is true.
And I sometimes I get really bothered by when some married people make you feel like, like they feel sorry for you because single.
Right.
Don't feel sorry for me.
Right.
I can pack my bag in a New York minute and hop on a plane if I decide to go somewhere. So it's not that you can be alone without being lonely.
That's right.
I'm not lonely. We all have peers. I'm like, I'm sitting here, it'd be nice if somebody came and maybe, rub my feet.
Right. Well, being married sometimes don't get you the foot rub automatically. I'm gonna tell you that.
Right. Somebody to talk to every now and then, but you make peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're ready to come to an end, but before the mics and cameras were on, you were telling me about your business. Could you share that with the audience?
So I do a couple of things. God help me. But my key business is Water Speaks. Water Speaks is the name of my company. It's a play on my last name and Speak. See how
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
So see that?
I see you, brother.
So the goal of Water Speaks is to provide motivational speaking. And what I'm really trying to do now is get the people who don't like to speak. A lot of people in corporations have to give all these big presentations. They don't want to do it. So my thing is, you write the speech, I'll write the speech, I'll come and give it for you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
It's a different concept.
Now, that's
It
a
is.
hustle right
That's a
there, baby. Wow.
It's a different concept I'm really trying to push right now. But it's all about motivating people to action. That is my key phrase, motivating people to action. Like when you come to one of my presentations, I want you to feel so motivated you get up and do something. I don't want you to come and clap your hands, he was wonderful, but you go home and you don't do nothing.
Right.
So I'm really trying to get up, no matter how old you are. I had this speech called Boom Baby Boom, a message to the baby boomers.
Okay.
Which I did a couple of years ago, which is for the audience of people who are 50 and over. Say, hey, what are you doing? You're sitting around doing nothing in the rocking chair. Why?
Yeah.
Get up and do something. So it's really about encouraging people. And then I still do training for corporations. So people invite me to come and do training for them. So I go out and do training for them. Now I'm doing policy, procedure, and development.
Okay.
And I do some consulting. So it's a whole umbrella with the business.
Several checks.
So yeah,
That's right.
That's what they teach you. That you in the speaking business, like you can't just rely on speaking.
Right.
Because those engagements can be far and few in between.
Right.
But because I have skills that allow me I can train you. I can write documents for you. So putting all that together, so that's the brand that I'm hustling.
There you go. All right.
I'm hustling.
The legal hustle.
And you have your other company is with
Yeah,
the
I
men.
have a nonprofit, Men with Vision.
Yes,
Men with Vision has been around since 2012. We took a hit when the pandemic happened. But what we really, it was a vision that God gave me to really help men get to where God has called them to be.
Okay.
And I believe that God has called every man and every woman and given them a specific purpose. But because I'm so geared towards men, especially black men, like my organization and minorities, my organization is, we're not racist by any means, but I know as a black man the challenges that black men face.
Right.
So what we're really concerned about is helping black men get to the next level. So we had a radio show called A Day in the Life of Men.
Okay.
Which was great, which was really interesting. We had more women on the show than men who would get on and listen to us every Tuesday night and ask questions and go back and tell the husband. I dragged my husband to the doctor today because of what you said about prostate cancer. I did that. So when COVID came, everything, we had this big event every year where we would honor 10 men, this big ceremony. But when COVID came, it slapped everything. And then I got sick. I had to take a breather, I had the lung cancer, so I had to deal with all that. I've been a little stuck, so we started this thing last week called a new thing I do on StreamYard. It is called the Men's Room. And the Men's Room is a conversation where we talk about topics, and I'm going to call you so you can come on.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then we talk about topics that are relative to men.
Yeah.
Because we need a place to share.
Yeah.
We need to, and we don't mind, I don't mind, and I encourage women to come on as well, but women are doing it for no disrespect, are doing it for themselves. I need for us men to get together and do it for ourselves,
Absolutely.
especially black men.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because
I
if
agree.
you listen to the media, we're no good, we don't do this, we don't do that, and it's only a small population that's like that. So that's what we do.
Yeah, good.
I love that.
I love it.
We need that
Absolutely.
safe space to
We
be
do.
able to
Yeah.
bounce things off of each other and just feedback. Because sometimes we get our advice from the worst people.
Exactly. You're absolutely
So
right.
I love it. Yes, I'm anytime. Let me know.
Thank you.
Could you definitely make sure that information gets to me for
Sure.
the StreamYard? Because I would like to share that with some men that are in my lives
Okay.
that could benefit from that.
Okay.
So that would be great.
Great.
Listen, I really enjoyed the conversation tonight with you, and we would love to have you back.
I have had a
Yeah.
ball.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
Thank
would
you.
love to come back. I do.
Yeah, we
I
would love
respect
to
what
have
you're
you
doing, man.
back.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Can you let everybody know how they can follow you? What social media handles they can reach out?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook under Thomas Waters. That's at facebook.com.
Okay.
You can find me on IG at I try to be hip with my guys. Sounds like I don't. Or Gram. I'm sorry. You can find me on the Gram.
On the gram. On the gram.
I don't want
Come on
to
now.
I don't want to call it guy pop. No, it's the Gram. You gotta be relevant. You can find me on the Gram at Water Speaks 2.
Okay.
I have a LinkedIn profile out there as well. I don't really do much on Twitter because Twitter got on my nerves.
Yeah.
Doesn't really suit my purpose.
Right.
So but that's how you can find me. Then I have email as well.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
I have a website, twspeaks.net. You can see a lot of my videos and things from there.
TWSpeaks.net. Okay.
twspeaks.net.
Okay.
That's how you can find me.
Okay. All right,
And
guys.
I'm
Make
accepting
sure.
bookings right now.
Yeah, that's right. Put it out there. Make sure y'all follow him
Reach out.
and reach out and support him. We always bring you some amazing people here that are doing great things. So support.
Please. And support us. October 13th, Theater Inn. Rebirth will be in the building again with our 4th version of
Yes.
our live.
And I'm gonna put it out there now.
Okay.
I would, I always gotta take a break. I got to take a break after I finish doing these rebirths because I'll be so exhausted.
I'm
It's
sure.
a lot.
Yeah.
But the idea is that we're gonna do this annually, a big one, and my vision of that is for it to be a weekend thing, almost like what you would see at Essence Fest.
Okay.
Right. That's where I'm going at
Great.
with
I
this.
love
Right. So. Yeah, definitely. When we do the next one, I would definitely love to have you on the panel.
I would love to.
Good.
Can you send me the flyer and stuff so I can post it on my sites as well and
I
share it
sure
with my
will.
friends as well?
Yep. My assistant over there, she got it. You take care of that, please.
Oh, cuzzo.
Make sure. Yeah.
Cousin to the
I
whole
gotta give it
county.
to you. You've been booking some good people. Good, yeah.
That's my baby right there. That's my baby.
Shout out.
She
Go
reached out
ahead.
to me and said, we have got to get you on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I always feel honored. I'm like, you know what? I don't see myself as anything,
Mm-hmm.
magnificent.
come
When
on.
people read my bio and I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you talking about? I'm looking
Yeah.
at
But that's you being humble, right?
Receive that.
Which is, yeah,
Receive your
definitely.
greatness. It's all right. Get
Definitely.
your flowers.
And which is more, people swallow that more
Right.
versus someone that is,
Yeah,
over the
'cause
top,
I've had
man.
a few people like, boo. I had a guy at one of my events.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry I honored you because you worked my nerves. If I could take this award back from you, I would take it back.
Right.
Dang.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for everyone that tuned in tonight. Thank you for your comments, guys. Eli and I are personally inviting you out October 13th to Rebirth Live. You haven't been to anything in Delaware like this, and I know you haven't. So come out and support this. It is a safe space. We normalize conversation. We normalize conversation amongst our community.
Right.
We have men and women, black men, black women, sitting down, talking about things that we usually kind of shy away from.
That's right.
So, and do we have different opinions? Yes, we do, but we do it with respect.
That's right.
We listen, we hear each other out, we have a good time, we laugh, we joke, we get serious. Sometimes there's tears, but then we bring it back up and we have a good time. DJ Tim Dog is going to be our DJ for the night. Ebony Monet Calloway will be our singer and entertainment for the night. We have amazing vendors that's going to be there. We have food by Big Shake's Backyard Catering is going to be covering that
sound like
event.
it's got to be good with that name.
Backyard catering.
Yeah, Big
You
Shakes. Wow.
So, we're just going to have a really good time. And I really hope you guys come out and support this event on October 13th. If you cannot make it, gift it to someone that needs a night out, that will enjoy themselves. This could be a girl's night out, a guy's night out, a date night. However you want to do it. Okay?
Can I just say one thing before we wrap up? Listen, ladies, come out. Let me tell you, this is probably one of the rare times you're gonna have the opportunity to hear men speaking honestly about how they feel about certain things. Men expressing themselves appropriately and accordingly. This is what you don't want to miss. And you have an opportunity to ask questions to a group of men who can be completely objective and honest with you, because we're not dating you. So we don't have to make up anything for you. But that's true. Guys sometimes are not honest. They don't tell their woman the truth because they know it may affect them. You're going to get the raw, unadulterated truth, man. So if you want that, if you've grown enough for that, it's going to be respectful. Come out. October 13th, Theater Inn, Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah,
Rebirth.
absolutely. Thank you again.
Thank you so
for
much,
joining
guys. Had a
us. We
great time.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next week. Next week we actually have the Men of Rebirth will be here with us next Monday. So some of the gentlemen that will be on the panel will be here next Monday night. So make sure you tune in.
Brown Liquor Monday. No, I'm playing.
Make sure you tune in. It's going to be so exciting. Some of our guys, we have Corey Wilkerson that's going to be here. Brian B. Wright. Some of you really, amazing guy that does a lot of work in the community. Bishop Rob Lewis. Who else is on our panel? Meshach Stinnett. Marquise Elliott, Eric Robinson. Yeah, man. Eli Isabel.
Thank you. I'm chopped liver up in this piece. Staying in Atlanta.
So, make sure you tune in. Yoda won't be here, though, right? Okay, Yoda is on the panel, but he will not be here. We're not sure if he's going to be able to be here next Monday, but he definitely is on the panel. So make sure you guys tune in. Get your tickets, rebirthu.com. Make sure you follow Tom. And thank you again. Have a blessed week. Take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones.
Peace.
We've got something to share. We're really proud of our product and are excited to make it available on our website. Out now.